Yo ho everyone, this is the Puka, and welcome to the final installment of the making of HermitCraft CarnEVIL. And we're going to be talking about editing and one of the more painful processes of making any video, which is deleted scenes. Stuff you worked on for a while and you just cut out because it wasn't working. So the first guy we're going to talk about is this right here, to HermitCraft. It was an easy cutout because I was actually going to have a scene where Puka was going to stand right about here. Let me hit F5. And he was going to have a camera pan out from where his face was, and then it was going to... Oh, where's that button? There it is. And then it was just going to say to HermitCraft. It was going to say, "Welcome Puka to HermitCraft." I wanted to put it in there for anybody that didn't know what HermitCraft was, to say, hey, this is the HermitCraft server. He somehow got to the HermitCraft server. But I took it out just because it probably wouldn't be too enjoyable to those who didn't know the HermitCraft server. Plus, it kind of looked like Puka was actually saying to HermitCraft, and it was drawing out the excitement of him actually coming into the HermitCraft server. So it just didn't seem too right. So I just cut it out and shortened up the scene with him just running up to here. And it just said, "Welcome Puka," and he ran up to B00 and went on their way. So pretty easy scene to take out, and a lot of reasons not to keep it in. So it went bye-bye. The other one down here I actually talked about in the previous video was the Victory Monument. I actually made it later in the video editing process, and I actually had some footage of Puka walking up to this point, and you didn't see it in the background, and I couldn't think of any way to actually use it in the first scene where he was playing around in the carnival area. So this guy was left out too, but I don't have any footage of that guy. An easy little cut that I had over here was I had Optimus have a sword and kind of crouch down and kind of back up a little bit into the corner. Okay, good.
Nice.
And the scene just didn't move quick enough. I tried fast forwarding it a little bit, but with GenerikB and B00 coming down on him, trying to make sure that he didn't leave the HermitCraft server, it just bogged it down just a little bit. So you actually see him standing right here, and then you see him move back into the and then you see him back in the corner. You don't actually see the transition of him going from this spot to this spot, but it wasn't too needed. It seemed to flow all right without it. So it's just taken as he did move backwards, and it's just not shown. One of the stranger scenes to be deleted was the persuasion of B00. When the Puka comes into this room from finally beating Corrales, and through the face transition as well, is when he comes up to B00 and it says "the end" over here, and that wasn't the first words that I wanted to have him say. They were actually "give up." And if you ever watch B00 or you're a fan of him at all, you know that giving him those words is a really big insult to him. So those were the words that I actually put into the script there, give up, and I left it there for a while, but I didn't feel too comfortable about it, and I actually recorded it. And at that time it didn't feel right, but so I had this scene where he says give up, and he's doing this weird turnaround thing, and it just doesn't work because I feel horrible actually giving him those lines. So it took me forever to actually put in different words um, for him to actually say through this scene. So I eventually came up with the end, like you're gonna stop here and join us. So I'm glad finally I came up with the end, because giving him those words, give up, was weird. So to B00, I'm sorry to ever have thought about giving you those words. Those things I just didn't think about, and uh, I'm glad that they didn't come into the final cut of the video. So the last scene I took out was Good, but Where Is Your Heart? And that scene was taken out because it felt weird to just have this scrolling text like that, pretty much. So when I spliced it up into individual words, I knew that I was going to have something in between there. I had already recorded the scene with Puka and the ghost up on the Biffa floor, so when I spliced these guys, I decided to record just a couple more with the other characters, and it came out to 4 of the major characters, not using Corrales or Zumavoid. So I just had 4 words and five sections. So it was going to be an odd out count. So I got rid of the but, and it was going to be GenerikB, B00, the ghost, and then ending with Kalumi here. So that wasn't the original ending, but it ended up working a lot better than I had planned out. So I got rid of the but, and I got rid of the good. And that is the last scene that I deleted from the video. We will move on to the editing and music. The music that I used for HermitCraft CarnEVIL was both unexpected and planned. There was things like the entrance to HermitCraft was going to be this jolly music, and that was going to come from Machinimasound, and it was going to be A Day in the Sun. I knew that much. And that's how the scene was pretty much created inside of my head, and I was going to use that music. Straightforward, no problems there. And the editing that I had to use was going to be, I was either going to go with the beat or I was going to just let it go. And I just happened to let it go because it's such a fast-paced beat that, and there was a lot happening that anything that hit with the beat, so nothing was actually planned in that factor. So anything that went with the beat was just happenstance. I did not plan anything of that. But after that, the music from C418, the track called 13, was that, I mean, the beginning was a creepy music, and the ghost comes up, bong, and that was planned. And the ghost coming down here, bong again, and that was kind of planned. I just had that scene right about the same time that the music came up, and I'm like, okay, that was kind of weird. But things get really, really, really weird. So I have all those scenes recorded with BOO coming down here to the stairs, drawing out their weapons, and then going over here to catch Puka trying to leave HermitCraft. And then I also had the Puka dropping down into Zoomovoid's zombie arena where it has a pool of water. Okay? And C418's music went along with that. When they draw their weapons, BOO and GenerikB, that's actually a part of the track of the music. I didn't add in those sound effects, and it just happened to work with the editing. So it was kind of weird. I only had to adjust it just a little bit in order for that to work perfectly with that. And then when Puka drops down, and where there's that big boom, which I assume is actually a creeper explosion inside of the music, but it works as the pistons doors opening as well. And then there's the splash, which just is a one-to-one great addition into the video. So those were semi-planned. I just had to edit the video just a little bit in order to get those sounds to work the way I wanted to. The music that I actually had for the persuasion of BOO was actually not going to have any music at all. The scene drug out for a little while, so I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do my first plan, which was actually to have the Enderman noise. I was going to have the Enderman noise while flashes of what BOO was going to say really quickly, but that didn't turn out once I had all the recording that I needed to be done, and how long each snippet of film there actually needed to be. So since it drug out a little bit, I was going to have a song. But since I had the first song, which was by C418, The Excuse, it seemed to work a lot better than what I had previously thought of, because it took you back to the beginning of the movie. So both the music and some of the video actually brought you back to the beginning of the video. The music that I used for the fight against the giant GenerikB was found on Machinimasound, but I used it for the fact that it had a loud trumpet in its music where it goes brrrr. And it's almost the exact same trumpet that GenerikB used in his first HermitCraft videos. So I thought that was an appropriate association between the two. And actually, the first four notes that you hear of that are from GenerikB's videos. And the fifth one is actually a combination between the music and GenerikB's first video trumpet sound. After that, it's fully the music, but those first five are just there to have an impact because in his first video he has five trumpet sounds. So I thought that was a cute addition. The second half of the song Land of the Wizard by Machinimasound was sort of a victory tone. So it led well from the fight scene into the victory scene. So the fact that I had a victory song and a fight song lead in just worked perfectly for this situation. So thank you everybody for watching the last edition of the making of HermitCraft CarnEVIL. I hope that some of you have found following me along in this little journey of the creation of the movie would possibly help you out in making your own. So thank you everybody for watching, and thank you to all the hermits in the HermitCraft server, and this is the Puka signing out. Bow. Hey, you still watching this? Well, since you are, I'm going to give you a little treat. I'm working on 2 more projects. One of them is coming out pretty soon, so I'm not going to tell you about that one. The other one's going to take me a little while, so I might as well tell you a little bit about that one, which is Dream No More. I'm going to have Puka in that one again, and it's going to be having the subject of what if your dreams got out of control. So I hope to see you then. Till then, give me any comments or suggestions that you have on your mind, and I will definitely listen to them. Talk to you all later.